Hello everyone, welcome back to 100 Days of Coding with Derrick Redeemer. This is the 33 of our 100 Days of Coding journey. And this one, I call it CSS Selectors Part 1, meaning the Part 2 will come. And yes, so still we are in what? The 33. The Part 2 to be in what? The 33. And yeah, so in our previous lesson, we learned about the 3 ways of adding CSS. That's the inline CSS, internal CSS, then external CSS. We also created our style.css file and connected it to our portfolio website. From today, we will start writing more CSS and using it to control different parts of our websites. The first thing we need to understand is CSS selectors. CSS selectors are one of the most important concepts in CSS because they allow us to choose exactly which elements or which HTML element we want to start. Today we will learn universal CSS, universal selector, element selector, class selector, ID selector, then group selector, and we'll apply them directly to our Derrick Redeemer portfolio website or your own portfolio website. Let's say it that way. So let's begin. So we would like to look at the learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to explain what CSS selectors are, use the universal selector, use element selector, apply selectors to your websites, understand how CSS targets HTML elements. What are CSS selectors? What are they? When we talk about CSS selectors, what are they? A CSS selector is a pattern used to select HTML elements that we want to start. Remember, HTML creates the elements, and CSS selects those elements and changes their appearance. For example, in your website, we have this particular one here. Where is it? So let me come to index.html. So in your website, you have welcome to my portfolio. So this one here, welcome to what? My portfolio. That one here. Let's say, I don't know how you name yours. Maybe welcome to my website or welcome to anything. I don't know how you name it. And yeah, CSS needs a way to know which heading should I change. And yeah, that is where selectors come in. A selector tells CSS, apply this style to this specific element. And yeah, and let's some basic CSS structure. Before learning selectors, let's understand the basic CSS format. So for example, let's go to our style. Let's go to our style and do something here. So don't get confused here. I just want to do something here. So selector, so selector, then the brace. Here. So the selector, then we have what? The property and what? The value. Here. So for example, when you take the first or the heading, let's say the heading style, when you take this one, you will see that the selector looks like something. The property also looks at something. The value also looks at something. Now let's compare. The selector here, this is what, sorry? The selector here looks exactly like what? The H1 here. So meaning this one is called a selector. This one too is called a selector. This one too is called a selector. I hear the paragraph there is called a selector. You get me? Then the color. So when you look at the property here, when you look at the property, you can see that the property looks like exactly like what the color here. So meaning anything that you include there is what? It's called property. Then the value here, what is it? So let's say that's blue. Let's say that is blue. Meaning the blue is equal to what? The value that we are referring to. Do you get me? Okay. So this means that so when you take the H1, that means that all H1 headings it changes to what? Blue. So here, let me clear this one from here. Since I don't you understand this one, and I really appreciate it. How fast you are. And let's come to selector 1, the first selector. I arrange it in. I don't know how you may arrange them. But I arrange them like this. So the selector 1, that's called universal selector. Universal selector. The universal selector targets every HTML element on the page. So it's represented using what? An asterisk. It is represented using what? An asterisk. So here, asterisk. This one here. Then the brace. This. So let me clear this one from here so that you get it clearly. So now you can see that's what the universal selector. It means select everything. You are selecting what? Everything on the page. The HTML file, everything. You're selecting what? Everything. Do you get it? All right. Now let's apply the universal selector to our website. So open the CSS file, the style.css there. Now you are going to add this one to our website. So you're going to add this one to our website. So let's say margin. The margin is what? Let's say 0. So let's say the margin is what? 0. The padding to is what? 0. Then let's come to box sizing. So box what? Sizing. Let's say the box sizing is what? Border box. It's called what? Border box. So save your file and refresh the browser. You may notice some spacing between them. So every developer introduce this one first. This one, the universal selector first. So let me come here. So let's say the comments here, let me introduce what? Universal selector. So universal selector. So let's say universal star. Let's make it that way. Then here, let's say the body style. So the body style, that one is what for everything. Okay, so let's load our page and notice something. Now you can see by yourself that the spaces are what there is no what you can see that this one the spaces are what small, this one too small, this one too what small. Do you get it? All right. So here now let's understand something here. The margin. Some of you might be thinking, will I explain the margin? Yes, I will explain. I will explain. So the margin here is equal to what? 0. That margin, the browser normally add default spacing around what elements. So here, let me clear this one from here and see what I'm talking about. So here, you can see that what the spacing are what much bigger. Here. So the spacing is what much bigger. If I include this one here, and you turn to your browser, you can see that the spaces are what close. All right. So this remove that default what margin. And let's go to padding is equal to 0. The padding is equal to 0 removes default in-out spacing. They remove what default in-out spacing. Then we also have box sizing is equal to colon. Then we have what border is equal to border what box. This helps us control element sizes more easily. We will learn more about this during the CSS box model lesson. The CSS box model lesson. So now let's look at some real life example here. So imagine you are cleaning a classroom. Instead of cleaning only one desk, you tell everyone, every desk and every chair should be arranged. The universal selector works the same way. It applies a rule to everything. Now let's come to the element selector. Let's come to the element selector. The element selector here, an element selector targets a specific what HTML tag. Targets what a specific HTML tag. So when you look at this particular one here, this one, when you look at this one, you will see that this one targets what the body, and this one also targets what the heading. This one it targets what the heading. You get it? Then this one also targets what any paragraph from or what in the HTML what pages. It uses what the HTML element name. Now let's try to do something here. So here's styling our portfolio heading. So look at our HTML. So you are going to open your HTML file. So let's say index.html. So welcome to my portfolio. This particular one here. This one here. Then you are going to what in your CSS style of file. You are going to what you're going to add color to what, or you're going to style the heading. So when you look at this one, I've applied it to that one already. You get it? Now when you save it, you should see something like what this color here. You should see something like that on your portfolio. When you open my portfolio, so meaning every heading one should change to what blue. This one should change to what blue. All right. So let's try to change our location to heading one. So our location to heading one. So index.html. Where is it? Yes, our location. So here the heading one. Let's change that one to heading one. This one to heading one and open our browser. So now you can see that it's just what changed totally. Do you get it? Do you get it? All right. So now I'm going to change it back to my heading 2. My heading 2. Sorry, heading 2. Now let's take the style to the paragraph. So paragraph, that's my name is Derrick Redeemer. So paragraph. So this one here, the paragraph. My name is what? Derrick Redeemer. Where is it? All right. So I think that one is in the contact. Sorry, about rather. Yes. So my name is Derrick Redeemer. This one here, a passionate web developer with a keen interest in creating user-friendly and visual appealing websites. So we are going to style that one too. Let me see if I've styled it already. So here, that's what font size, the paragraph, the font size, the 18 pixel, then the line height is equal to colon 1.6. Now every paragraph on our website will see the same styling. This includes about page paragraphs, footer paragraphs, contact page text. So let me open. So this one, that's what the paragraph here. So I mean that one. Okay. Now let's also try to style the navigation as well. So styling our navigation. So here we are going to include the comment. So style. Sorry. So navigation. Sorry. So navigation styles. So here, let's say nav. So here. So and we already know our navigation contains index.html, about.html, that's about. Then we take the index.html, that's what. So I mean this particular one here. We take this one here. So the index.html contains what? Home, that's home. Then the about.html, that's what? About. Then the contact, that's what? Contact.html, that's what? Contact. All right. So here we are going to style this one. So we can target the navigation element. So let's change our color to what? Let's change our color to 333. Yes. So 333. Then let's change the padding to, let's say 15. Let's try something like that to see 15. The text alignment, let's clean that one from there. We'll do that one later. So here. So I think the background should be something nice. Should be something like, let me include none. So none. The none should be simply mean no color should be applied. So now let's open it again. Now you can see. So you can see here clearly. You can see. Now let's look at some important things. So element selectors affect every element with a name. For example, paragraph, if you change the paragraph, if let's say color is black, it should affect what every color, every paragraph on a page. About page paragraph will be changed. Contact page paragraph will be changed. Footer paragraphs will be changed. Sometimes we need more specific for selected. That is why we need class for selectors, ID selectors, which we will learn in the next part. So the next part we'll learn what the class selector, the class selectors, and then ID selectors. Now keep this in mind. Start with simple selectors when building your website. Use element selectors for general styling, class selectors for specific designs, ID selectors for unique sections. Professional developers combine different selectors depending on what they need. All right. Now let's look at some common mistake we make. Forgetting the dot or symbol when using selectors. So that's if you're doing the ID and the class selectors. So we'll talk about this one here. We'll talk about everything when trying to target a class. So mistake 3, writing CSS outside the word selectors. It is not good. So you write CSS outside word selectors. So for example, this one here, this one, instead of writing inside the selector, I will write it here. So here, which is what? Wrong. It is totally wrong. So let me clear that one from here and paste it there back. Mistake 4, forgetting to save the file or the CSS file. Always save before refreshing. Now I'm going to give you a mini challenge here. Using your portfolio website or the website that you built. Open style.css, add a universal selector, style your H1 heading, paragraphs, and then navigation. Refresh your browser and observe the changes. Today we learn what CSS selectors are, CSS selector structure, universal selector, element selector, how to apply selectors to our websites. Excellent work. Today we learn how CSS can target different parts of our website using selectors. Selectors are the foundation of CSS because they allow us to control exactly what we want to design. In the next part of day 33, we will learn class selectors, ID selectors, then group selectors. Then we'll use them to create more professional styling of our websites. Thank you for joining day 33 of 100 Days of Coding with Derrick Redeemer. Keep learning, keep practicing, keep coding. I will see you in the day 33 part 2. Happy coding.